Good day to fellow Toastmasters and guests. Before starting, I would like to start with a quote to get written by Charles Horton Cooley, relevant to the theme. To get away from one's working environment is, in the sense, to get away from oneself, and this is often the chief advantage of travel and changes. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, good evening to you all. I am Ramesh Rajendran, your Sergeant at Arms. Welcome to 597th meeting of Medley Toastmasters Club. The mission of Medley Toastmasters Club is to provide a supporting role and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. In every Toastmasters meeting, we follow these four ground rules. Rule number one, if you're not the speaker, please put yourself on mute. Rule number two, when you're moving, please switch off your camera in order to avoid disturbance. Rule number three, please avoid taboo topics such as sex, religion, and politics. Rule number four, please attend the meeting in formal attire. Before that, I would love to welcome our presiding officer, DTM Thomas Abraham, the club president. He is a former senior vice president of corporate communications with the Hinduja Group. He combines words, voice, and photography and design to communicate. He is proud Medleyan since January 2015. He has taught public speaking and debate to undergraduates. Tomorrow, he will set to represent Medley in Division C Humor Contest along with Jagan for evaluation contest. With this, over to you, Mr. President, TTM Thomas Abraham.
Thank you very much, Sergeant at Arms, for the generous welcome. With the sound of this imaginary gavel, I declare open meeting number 597. 597, friends. We are on the cusp of history that not many clubs in Chennai have ever gone near. Feel proud. Also be prepared to hear two senior Toastmasters what they feel about their love affair with Medley. Ramesh, who has been heading this activity and heading a team, he will present these two films for us. Thank you, Ramesh.
You have seen this temple Urchavar Urolams. What will happen is the god will be put on to one particular pedestal, and then people will carry, dance, sing, rejoice, taking the god street over streets. That is what exactly happened to me in every role I signed, every role I played, everything I did with respect to Toastmasters. Medleyans carried me, praised me, rejoiced with me, danced with me, helped me grow where I am today. When I joined Medley, I was a very naive person. People who know me, people who have seen my CC1, no, it's not CC1, people who have seen my CC6 will definitely understand what a naive person I was and what a pathetic speaker I was. Medleyans carried me with their evaluations, with their help, their support and everything. And here I am today. I've played almost all the roles in whatever was possible into my capacity in Toastmasters purely because of the support I got from Medley. To mention one particular thing is my very own first division conference, though there were some 80 role players, 18 of them from Medley came for the previous state dry run. They were not role players, they just came to support, motivate me, because I just was a 6-month Toastmaster then. I don't know what is what. I reached out to people, they came, the conference became super successful. Let it be anything and everything I did at Medley, at Toastmasters. Medleyans gave me a beautiful support. That's the beauty of Medley. Here I mean, we are at a very different milestone, and I know I'll be sailing, going with Medley in all the future milestones. Thank you, Medley. Thank you, Medleyans.
Hello friends, I still remember it was not my second speech, my 9th speech, and I was so nervous. I was trying to figure out what's causing this nervousness. One day I found the culprit. You know, when people yawn or they scroll on their mobiles, I thought I was not doing the right job, and that made me nervous. It may sound very silly, but I had a problem of nervousness. and I worked on 3 areas. One, I made my script very strong, practiced it well. Every weekend, almost every weekend, I took up different roles, and might be after 1.5 year, I started to shed the inhibitions I carried for years. Today I feel nervous, but I am able to manage it in a better way. Friends, on this occasion, I would like to say one thing. I'm so pleased to see Medlians are doing great things. Congratulations to all of us on our 600 milestone meeting. Hip hip hooray!
So then, thank you, Ramesh. I hope we feel proud being part of a team that so many jumps among us. But I really wish lockdown comes to a close and we get to see all these performers and get inspired and have our learnings doubled in physical meetings. I look forward to those days. I hope it happens quickly. Broadly speaking, we are into November and we are into an intense and interesting phase of the current term. Why? Like I mentioned to you, history beckons us. It's just 3 weeks away, the 600th meeting. You will have a galaxy of Toastmasters, famous international Toastmasters, with us that day, as also our own veterans will be on display. Secondly, election is round the corner. In fact, the process is already on. Today, we have an additional item in the form of the report being presented by the chairperson of that committee. So I'll be brief, but say that with some happiness that we have been able to initiate the process of election earlier than ever, if I'm not mistaken, so that we get that much more time for the new ExCom to do their apprenticeship and be ready to take on from 1st of January. With this, I have great pleasure in introducing the Toastmaster of the day, one very much from the young brigade that Medley has got in the last 6 months or so. I remember her saying, Medley, my family, in that collage video that they did. But you know, she has since then made a couple of very interesting speeches and has made great strides, as you can see. And I'm very happy to see you taking charge of the delegated responsibility the VPE Raghu has given with the idea of delegating responsibility and making the TMOD part of the manager of the event. I'm very glad you've taken on that. In a brevity-laden introduction marked by great humility, she said she's a sports lover, quick on the uptake, and she's in the HR area. Over to you, Pavitra, to take this forward. Thank you.
Thank you, DTM Thomas Abraham, for that introduction. That was very kind of you to give that introduction to me. And it is a pleasure to be a TMOD of the day at Medley. My friends at Medley and dear guests, good afternoon to everybody. Welcome to meeting number 597. So amidst this corona and the pandemic that we are in, I was just thinking about what theme to take. And I thought it would be good to take a relaxing theme, such as vacation. Just bear with me for a couple of seconds until I share my screen. And do give me a thumbs up when you see. Are you able to see my screen?
Yeah, we can see it.
Yes, audio.
Yes.
Okay. I hope this picture reminds all of us of vacations, of the beach, of how relaxing it is to sit on a chair and look at the wide, vast blue ocean, right? So at this point in time, I think a lot of us can only think about vacations or probably remember the memories that we've had. If someone's gone on a vacation in 2020, kudos to them. I think that's a much, much needed break that anybody needed in this year. Yeah. So what is your favorite vacation spot? Can I have anybody telling me what is the favorite vacation spot for them? Anybody?
A place where you get peace, like trekking. You can go for trekking or something like that. A peaceful place. Need not be outside India or something, but you can go for, village also gives you peace. You can go for trekking or something.
Great.
Place like Wuhan.
That is the last place people.
Oh, that is for all vacation.
Okay, nice. Right. So, yeah, vacation. My favorite vacation spot was Varkala. So that was last December, the last vacation that I had just during the Christmas season. Just like how they say an apple a day keeps a doctor away, I believe that a vacation a year will keep you in good stead. Right? That's what I believe in. Vacation reminds me of this strange story in my life. Right? On one of the afternoons, when just imagine this scene, right? You're sitting on a damp recliner at Goa, and the waves are gushing to the shore. There is the smell of salty air, and also you sit and stretch your legs and relax, and sunlight is, the rays of sunlight is striking through sunglasses, right? How perfect that looks, or if you can, just visualize it. So that was a sort of perfect vacation that I was sitting in on a recliner on I think last November it was that this happened. But it was not so perfect after all, because there was I would say this was the calm that happened after a storm. And the storm was that we were on an office trip. Actually, it was not a vacation after all. It was an unplanned vacation. So we all had planned to board a flight at 11 a.m. in the morning, but we all woke up late and missed the flight, and there was a whole mishap. And we landed up at the airport at around 10:30, and we missed the flight, of course, right? So that was the last vacation. So some vacations are, I think, very memorable in terms of maybe there was a very good adventure which was fun, or sometimes there is a lot of mishap or as well that happens. So this is one such vacation where I would say that there was a lot of confusion and chaos that happened. Nonetheless, I think at the end of the day, I made good friends after the vacation. We all became a very good bunch of friends at office. Yeah. So I will continue on this story during the course of this meeting. But for the benefit of guests, every Toastmaster session has 3 parts. One is the prepared speech session, wherein the members deliver speeches based on their projects. The next is my favorite part, which is the impromptu or the table topic session. And the third part is the evaluation, not just evaluation of the speeches, but the entire proceedings of the meeting, right? We also have an additional surprise session today. Let's see what's in store for us. Moving on to today's proceedings, Guru Prasad dons the hat of the GE today. When I asked him how he wanted to be introduced, Guru says, he has crossed half a century by age, but with his attitude, especially Toastmaster enthusiasm that he has, he is always 20. I can't agree better on this, of course, I think. And he says he's never experienced vacation in his life. He always leaves a place out of his own will, is what he says. So over to you, Guru.
Thank you very much, Modi. Are you guys able to see me? I can see.
Yes, we can hear you.
Thank you and welcome to one more meeting nearing the much anticipated 6th century soon. Well, vacation, while it is definitely for enjoyment and excitement, vacation also gives us a lot of responsibility. Though the crowd in the vacation is always enjoying the places they see around, there will be one person monitoring how we actually go around. Do we get lost, or are we safe? Are we back to our hotels or restaurants back? And he also needs some help from a couple of people to monitor all those things, whether we are visiting places on time, spending right amount of money, not doing any mistake. That is exactly my role today. My role is called as general evaluator. Watch this whole meeting while you are all very much excited and enjoying the day. I'm here to watch that this is conducted in the best possible way. To support me in this activity, I have a 3-member team who will be just giving a short introduction of their roles. And later we have a separate session where we will be giving our reports on observation. I would like to invite Toastmaster Ramesh Rajendran, the timer, to explain his roles now. Over to you, Ramesh.
Good evening, Toastmasters and guests. As a timer, I'll be recording all the formal speeches, table topics, and evaluation. I'll be alerting each speaker of the time they are left using green, yellow, and red card on my back of my background, which denotes specific time remaining. Before that, I would like to place 3 important points before I proceed with the timing of each contestant. First point is, as a suggestion, kindly pin my video before you are presenting a speech to your audience. Second, cards will be displayed in my background, not in the screen share, in order to avoid hindrance while presenting the speech. And third, no sound indication may be placed in order to avoid hindrance, because when you're speaking and when the beep sound comes in, I guess it will be distraction for the speaker as well. So this practice, I believe this practice also will be helpful if you are going for any area contest. So we are practicing here like a mock. So before that, so these are the 3 important points I would like to share. So after that, now I would like to specify each speaker's timer. For prepared speeches, Renu Narayanan, Sampath Kumar, and Shruti Prakash, they'll be having 5, 6, 7. That is 5 minutes as an eligibility, which I will show green. 6 minutes as amber yellow, and 7 minutes as red. And after red, 30 seconds of question time will be provided to these 3 speakers in order to complete their speech on time. Or else, if they exceed, they may be turned disqualified. And Jagannathan, he'll be having 4 to 6 minutes, since he's doing a icebreaker speech. For 4 minutes, I'll be displaying my background as green, 5 minutes yellow, and 6 minutes red, and 30 seconds, again 30 seconds of question time will be available for him to complete a speech, or else it will turn as disqualification. For evaluators, for all the evaluators, it is same. That is 2 to 3 minutes is their time to evaluate the speech. 2 minutes, I will be displaying color green. Hope it's visible. 2.3 seconds, it will be yellow, and 3 minutes, it will be red. And again, 30 seconds of extra question time will be available to conclude their evaluation, or else they will be termed as disqualification. And for table topics, they have to speak for minimum 2 minutes as an encouragement, but the minimum time for a table topic is 1 minute, which I'll display green. 1 minute 30 seconds, I'll display yellow, and 2 minutes I'll display red, and 30 seconds again a question time will be given, for which they have to conclude within the time. Also will be termed disqualification. So with this, I would like to present the stage to G.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Ramesh, for the detailed explanation. As you see, Toastmaster Timer is the most hardworking role player in this whole meeting, and he always works in the background. Maybe that's why initially he didn't even show up, only showing the background. Just kidding. Now we move on to the next role player of the day, Toastmaster Sharanya. Welcome, and please explain your role, Sharan.
Thank you, General Evaluator. Good afternoon, Toastmasters and guests. The purpose of the counter is to note words and sounds that are used as a crutch or pause filler by anyone who speaks. During the meeting, I will listen for overused words including and, well, but, so, and you know. I will also listen for filler sounds including and I will also note when a speaker repeats a word or phrase such as I or this means this means. At the end of the meeting, I'll report the number of times that each speaker used these expressions. Thank you. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Sharanya, for explaining your role of counting the unnecessary sounds made by the speakers. We'll move on to the next role player, who is Toastmaster Rohit, who will be the language tracker of the day. Let him explain his role in detail. Over to you, Rohit.
Thank you, G. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Yes, Rohit.
All right. All right. Today, as a grammarian, a very good afternoon to fellow Toastmasters and guests. As a grammarian, today it is my responsibility to pay close attention to all speakers, listening carefully to their language usage. I'll take note of any improper language as well as any outstanding words, quotes, sayings, or thoughts. As a grammarian, it is also my duty to introduce the word of the day. The word of the day is futile. I'll share my screen here. Okay, so the word of the day is futile. It means it means hopeless, unsuccessful, pointless, and unrewarding. It's an adjective, and it actually means incapable or to produce a result. As a sentence, it can be used in in this way. After several futile attempts to start a business, he finally took up a job in a manufacturing company. So this is how it can be used as in a sentence. So I request every speaker and even the role players to use the word of the day. I will give the grammarians report when called upon during the meeting, and also report on the usage on the word of the day. Thank you, G. Over to you.
Thank you very much, my trio tag team, who's going to join me in this journey of great vacation called Medley 597, where we let the whole team roam around, enjoy the vacation, and we keep track of their experiences throughout. With the help of the lead person of today's meeting, Toastmaster of the Day, Pavitra, I'll be supporting my report in the end along with my team. Over to you, Toastmaster of the Day, Pavitra.
Thank you, DTM Guru Prasad Padmanabhan. Moving on to the first section, which is the prepared speeches, where Toastmasters put in a lot of effort to research and practice a speech. I think as audience, we have a lot to learn and take away from as well. Today, we have 4 speeches from different pathways. The first speaker is our very own storyteller and environmentalist, TM Renu Narayan. When asked about the theme, she says she likes to go to non-touristy, natural places for a vacation. And if there's a water body, it's an added advantage, she says. Her evaluator is Mr. Surya. I request Surya to read out the objectives of the speech and also mention the timing for her speech. Over to you, Surya.
Just a minute. Toastmaster Renu Narayan is delivering her speech in level 2, project 1 under presentation mastery pathway. The project objective is effective body language, which says the purpose of this project is for the member to deliver a speech with awareness of intentional and unintentional body language, as well as to learn, practice, and refine how he or she uses non-verbal communication when delivering the speech. And the timing is 5 to 7 minutes. All the best, Toastmaster Renu. Over to you, Team Modi.
Thank you, Surya. Renu Narayan, packed. Packed, Renu Narayan.
Thank you, Dear Modi. Has anyone here ever made a pact with a higher power, God or the universe? Well, I have made one. And let me tell you that story. A very good evening to all my fellow Toastmasters, and yes, the anecdote that I'm going to share with you, I have to take you back to the year 2005, a Wednesday, the 15th of June. It was like any other day. I finished all my chores, got my children ready for school, and dropped them off. At that point in time, we had two dogs, Pebbles, a 6-year-old Labrador, and a 1.5-year-old boxer called Sparky. Pebbles had been suffering from a skin infection, so I took her to the vet. The vet gave her an injection for immediate relief and then said, "Why don't you take her down to the beach? Salt water is a good cure for this." I was really happy because you see, my house is just a 5-minute walk to the beach. And that very evening, I was very eager to take them to the beach. As soon as the children had finished their snacks, I badgered them to finish off their homework. And we set off. As soon as we reached, I took Pebbles off her leash and she dashed off into the water. I didn't let Sparky off. She kept barking and finally I said, "Okay," and I let her off the leash too. And soon, the two of them were frolicking around in the water. My two daughters, 5-year-old Rudra and 10-year-old Sneha, were playing in the sand. So my attention was divided between my girls and my two dogs in the water. Suddenly, when I glanced towards the dogs, they were playing and running away from me, not towards the city. I called out to them, but unfortunately, the wind was blowing towards me and they couldn't hear me. Now I was stuck, literally between the devil and the deep blue sea. I couldn't possibly leave my children behind. The sky was getting dark, nor could I leave the dogs running away. So finally, I picked up my younger daughter, and Sneha and I chased after the dogs. But I'm sure all of you know how difficult it is to run on the sand, and I was impeded by the weight of my child. So after some time, totally exhausted, I stopped and helplessly watched the dogs running further and further away. Heart sick, we went back home. I called my neighbor, told him what had happened, and asked him if he could please come with me to look for the dogs. I gave the children their dinner and asked them to stay inside the house. We left. First stop, Mirangai. Some people sitting there had seen the dogs. Yes, they were frolicking and running further away. Next stop, Palawa. Got the same answer. I wanted to go further down to Kottivakam and on to Besant Nagar, but my neighbor demurred. He said, "Don't worry, they're dogs, they'll find their way back home." I wasn't convinced, but I had no choice. So I went back home. That night, I didn't sleep at all. Horrific images were flashing across my eyes. My poor dogs, lost and confused, tired, hungry, thirsty. What if they were attacked by stray dogs? What if people threw stones at them? What if breeders found them? I would never ever get them back. The next morning, very mechanically, I finished my chores, dropped the children to school. When I came back home and opened the door, that's when it hit me. The house is absolutely silent. No welcoming barks from the dogs. I walked in slowly. I was so restless and upset. I paced up and down, wondering what I could possibly do. I went to Adyar, placed an ad in the Adyar Times, came back home. And that evening, when the children came back, all of us sat together, feeling miserable without our dogs. The next morning, I dropped the children to school And this time when I came back home, I told myself, there's something I need to do about this. And that evening, I took a local boy along with me and walked the entire stretch from Injambakam to Besant Nagar, stopping every now and then, asking the fisher people if they'd seen the dogs, giving each of them my telephone number and asking them to call me if they had any news at all. It took me 3.5 hours to walk. I came back home. The next morning, I woke up with a lot of hope in my heart. Perhaps somebody would give me a call. But there wasn't any call. That night, my husband called from the ship. From the tone of my voice, he said, "Is there anything wrong?" And I said, "No, there isn't anything wrong. How could I possibly tell him? After all, what could he possibly do? He was so far away, mid-sea. I didn't tell him. A short while later, the phone rang again. And he said, "Renu, please tell me. I know there's something wrong. Don't hide this from me." So finally, I told him. He was distraught. He kept saying, "Why did you let Sparky off a leash?" I was crying. He knew asking me that question was futile. And so he said, "Don't worry, Renu. Don't worry. I'll be back in a couple of months." And I was desperate. That's when I made a pact with God. I said, "God, please give me my dogs back, and I will tonsure my head." The next morning, Sunday, a dear time was delivered. I looked for the ad. It was this time. I had to search for it in order to find it. How would anyone even see it? I lost all hope. But that evening, at 6 o'clock, I got a call from this lady called Cynthia. She was living in Kotiba, and she said the sweetest words in my ear. "A dog, a boxer, is playing around here in the empty plot next to my house. I think it's your dog." I rushed there in my car, and sure enough, it was my Sparky. Oh my God, both of us were so happy to see each other. I quickly put her in the car. Now I had to find Pebbles. I went around the entire area calling out her name, but I didn't find her. Disappointed, I went back home. 8:30, my friend, a very good friend, calls me up. "Renu, I found Pebbles. She's in my car. I'm bringing her home." And then she told me that when she was going back home, she found Pebbles walking along the road very calm and cool. And when she called her, she immediately got into the car because she knew our friend Kala very well. So by 9 p.m. that night, both our dogs were back home. Can you believe that? Our family was together again. And if you're wondering whether I kept my pact with God, yes, I did. I tonsured my head. Thank you for listening. Over to you, TMOB. And if there's some more time left, I would like to share my screen so you can see my dogs. Would you like that? Yes? Okay, let me sit down first, please. There you go. Because there's an article that covered. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Renu. That was an adorable story indeed, and very nice pictures of your dog as well that you shared with us. Next up, we have Jagannathan as our second speaker. So when I asked Jagan about his introduction, he says he's still trying to prep for a 3-line introduction about himself. One of the most memorable vacation for him was when he visited Thiruvananthapuram in the 2000s with his father. Jagan's evaluator is Mr. Pranav Sudarshan. I request Pranav to read out the objectives of his speech and also mention his timing.
Okay, sure. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So today Jagan is attempting his level 1 project 1 from persuasive influence. He is giving his icebreaker today. So the purpose of this project is for the member to introduce himself or herself to the club and learn the basic structure of a speech. And timer, please note the length of a speech will be 4 to 6 minutes. All the best, and over to you, Jagan.
All right. Jagannathan, lights too bright. Lights too bright, Jagannathan.
It's been 4 months since I was born. My life experience so far has been similar to Bear Grylls traveling through the Amazon. I look like my paternal grandfather. Appa is not here. Amma is still asleep. This uncle is constantly provoking me. He could be my mother's brother, but that does not give him the right to provoke me, right? There is a small girl who is probably 6 to 7 years old around the corner of the room, grumpy face. Similar to me, she is fair, thin, yet not as crying as I am. My stomach rumbles. Probably it will end up in a sound coming from the south corner of my body. I don't know what that sound is. It stings. Dum, dum. There it is. Sound from the south corner. I don't know whether I'm happy to be here or not. Whether I could feel this way before I was born or not. Just conscious, laying on my back. Good afternoon, Madam Toastmaster and my dear friends. That was 26 years and 4 months ago that Dum Dum happened. If you guys had the opportunity to go back in time and tell yourself, what would you do? Now, I have 5 important things to say to this guy on the picture. Dear infant Jagan, point number 1. Your sister is going to scare the hell out of you. Although Amma says that life will be kind, yet that 7-year-old doesn't agree. There will be battles after battles, wars after wars. What for? All for mother's attention. But let me tell you, that sister is the best that you can get. The 2 girls which come out of her will mean the world to you. Point number 2. You will be branded this and that. You will be branded as this, as that right from the birth. Are you a North Indian? It's so weird when you speak Tamil. Are you Chinky? Are you Mongolian? Your surname is Chakravarti. Are you a Bang? A little Musalman maybe. Namam borravala, patta borravala. Illa vera jadiya. Lefta, righta. It will be irritating that people will group you into these things. But you can't help but ignore. You yourself will have the urge to group people into things. That's just human. But the only box that you'll ever be comfortable is to be an Indian. Point number 3. You will become a non-believer in this supernatural, omnipotent, omnipresent being. I cannot tell you much about it because that concept is subject to market risk. Please read scheme-related documents very carefully before investing. Point number 4. You'll be part of many groups, as I said before. 2 of them will have tremendous influence on how you behave. Point number 1 is Infosys. Now, Infosys is the name that even still our immediate past president DTM Suganthi Periyasamy thinks our name is. Second is Toastmasters. If not for Infosys, you would have never been part of Toastmasters. Third thing is that Infosys would have given you everything, right? Except for a girlfriend. But that is a subjective thing. Let's not get into that. It's a subjective argument, okay? But why would you join Toastmaster? Why would you join Toastmaster? Initially to speak because you're young, but eventually you will learn to listen more than speaking. Point number 5. At 11, you'll be exposed to violin. At 17, guitar. At 19, piano. But when puberty hits, your bathroom will be exposed to your donkey voice. You can't help that. 2 competent and compassionate music teachers will help you, will guide you through this time of music. Now, I've told you all these 5 things. There are some rudimentary things this icebreaker speech also necessitates, which I'm sure Pranav will mention. I studied mechanical engineering in Anna University in a college called Meenakshi Sundarajan Engineering College, which Pranav will also identify, he's my junior from that college. So we studied, both of them are mechanical engineers. Both of them are working in IT, unfortunately or fortunately, I don't know that. So Now I've spoken all these 5 things and given my basic understanding about or basic details about my engineering and background. Now I have to give back the stage to Madam Toastmaster Pavitra, or else I'll be thrown out. So yes, my dear infant Jagan, life is too bright, so is light, but it's too cluttered too. What we can do? You will get used to it. Poga poga pazhangirumpa, poga poga seriyaidum. Over to Pavitra.
Thanks, Jagan. That was a wonderful speech indeed. Next up, we have Toastmaster Sampath Kumar delivering the third speech. Sampath is working as a lead engineer in an esteemed organization. He wants to utilize the Toastmasters platform to become an entrepreneur. As far as his views on the theme goes, he says vacation is about spending time with family without electronic devices and living in the moment. Ms. Suganti Peryasamy is Sampath's evaluator. I request Suganti to read out the objectives of Sampath's speech, please. You're not audible, Suganti.
Right. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Good afternoon, Toastmasters and guests. Toastmaster Sampath has chosen the dynamic leadership as his path. He is in level 1, project number 2, which is evaluation and feedback. Today, Toastmaster Sampath is expected to deliver a 5 to 7 minute speech in which he will be incorporating feedback from his earlier speech. All the very best, Sampath. Over to Toastmaster Pavitra.
Thank you, Suganti. Sampath Kumar, overcome the conflict in a relationship. Overcome the conflict in a relationship, Sampath Kumar.
Thank you for your warm introduction, PM Modi. Am I audible? Can any one of you please tell me what is the most selfish word in the world?
I.
Thank you. Thank you. Happy afternoon, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Yes, it is I, the most selfish word. I stands for expectations. In other side, relationship is nothing but an expectations. We cannot anticipate anything from unknown person, correct? He or she must be related in some other form. The expected behavior is not received from the related person, only then people become unhappy. When someone is having stress, the relationship should help you to come out of the stress and to make you to feel stronger. But the reality, the very relationship is causing to have stress because like unexpected expectations. Can we overcome this ED? By the way, can some of you unmute and tell me please, what is ED?
Expectation disorder.
Fantastic. It is expectation disorder. How to overcome this expectation disorder? The only way to overcome your ED by fulfilling the counterpart's ED. Let me share with you my personal life incident. After I completed my engineering, I was looking for the job. I could not get any job for almost 8 months. One day I was talking to my mother. I said, Amma, I completed my engineering. My cognitive level is improved a bit, but I do not have enough competence to get a job. I don't know when I will be in the job. My mother said to me, my dear son, don't worry. Please continue to put your efforts. Perseverance will make you to progress. She added a note and said that you may not become a competency person in one day, but one day you will become a competency person. Those words were really boosted my confidence. Then she supported me, she accepted me completely, irrespective of my success or failures. With her blessings, I secured a job. Life was moving slowly. I started to bloom. I got married in the year 2008. That time, I was earning very little, which was just enough for hand-to-mouth existence. I hesitated to change my job due to my communications and my competency level. But one fine day, I decided to change my job. I started preparing for an interview. After a couple of months, I went for an interview. When I came back home, My wife understood from my facial expressions that the meeting did not go well as expected. I went just inside the room and slept. After 2 hours, she woke me up and called me for dinner. I was amazed at the food she was prepared for me. It was a festive meal. I enjoyed the food. I almost ate everything. Then I asked my wife, I knew that you understood from my facial expressions I did not get the job. But still, why did you go ahead and prepare the fantastic meal for me? She replied, love does not care about success or failure of the person. Love takes care of the person completely. Interestingly, she added and said that you may not become a competency, you may not become a good position in one day, but one day you will be in good position. She supported me, she accepted me, loving me unconditionally. Later, I realized, whatever the circumstances, we need total acceptance, total support, and unconditional love to navigate in the right path. Even we got rejected by the whole world. If we have one such person in our life, we can certainly achieve what we wanted to achieve. We can reach wherever we wanted to go. Therefore, surround yourself with the right-minded people who believe in you, who accept you totally, regardless of your success or failures. And most importantly, be that kind of person for someone else, irrespective of their success or failure. People used to say that if I have a good relationship, then I can live happy life. No, it doesn't work that way. If you are a happy person, only then you will have good relationship with the people. If I want to be supported by everyone, it depends on my wealth or depends on the people. But if I want to support everyone, who can stop me? If I want to get respect from all of you, it depends on my faith. But if I want to give respect to all of you, no one can stop me. If I want to be loved by others, it depends on my karma. But if I want to love others, I'm the master in love. At the same time, we always look at the positive attributes of every individual. We should look at the positive attributes of every individual. Even, you may not have a reason to smile, but your smile will be a reason to make others smile. Please keep smiling. Thank you so much. Over to you, PM Modi.
That was a great speech indeed, Sampath. Next up, we have Ms. Shruti Prakash as the fourth speaker today. Shruti is currently pursuing her chemical engineering from SSN College of Engineering. She thinks vacation is a much needed break for the mind and soul till the thought of unpacking sets in. I request her evaluator, Mr. Toastmaster Krishna Kishore, to read out the objectives of the speech, including the timing for her speech. Krishna Kishore?
Yeah, thank you, Pavitra. So the timing for Shruti's speech is 5 to 7 minutes, and her project is evaluation and feedback, speech number 1. The purpose of this project is for the member to present a speech on any topic, receive feedback, and apply feedback to her second speech. So the purpose of this speech is for the member to present a speech, receive a feedback from her evaluator. Back to you, Timothy.
Toastmaster Shruti Prakash, the dog ate my homework. The dog ate my homework. Toastmaster Shruti Prakash.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes.
When I was 9, I heard my then best friend tell our teacher, my dog ate my homework and I couldn't turn it in. This, to my kids' ears, seemed like a plausible excuse. So I rushed back home, did all my homework, and took it to my neighbor's dog. To ease the process, I put the paper between 2 dog biscuits. The dog ate the biscuits, the paper, and then chucked out the paper. Too late did I realize that instead of placing the homework between the biscuits, I had placed the question booklet. Next day, I walked dejectedly to my teacher and turned in my homework, telling her, "Ma'am, my neighbor's dog didn't eat my homework. She only ate my questionnaire." My teacher, much to my annoyance, laughed heartily and left it at that. I, on the other hand, was bewildered that the same excuse did not work. I am your average college student when it comes to workload. I turn in about 98% of my assignments on or before time. The other 2% are circumstantial or just too insignificant a contribution to my credit score. On my completed work, I do feel a sense of accomplishment when the confirmation mail pings in my mailbox. But try finishing your homework when the teacher is walking down the aisle to collect it. Trust me, it is much more action-packed than any Tom Cruise movie. Now, I am no neurologist, but I did analyze my brain. My brain, for the majority of assignment time, has 5 characters: the sensible man, the fun monkey, the panic monster, the insecure duck, and the excuse snake. When an assignment is announced, the sensible man, who's supposed to commandeer the brain, somehow slips up and the fun monkey takes over. Random jobs take priority, such as listening to Justin Bieber's interviews, even though you hate his music. Counting shells also sound good during this time. But as the deadline draws near, the panic monster attacks. Remember, the fun monkey is scared off by the panic monster. He inspires groveling to the all-powerful one. The fun monkey realizes that he can no longer frolic about and then allows Mr. Sensible to take over. At the sight of now impossible deadlines, the excuse snake slithers in with the manual of excuses and then comes up with both generic and genuine excuses. Sometimes, instead of the panic monster, the insecure duck wades in and acts like a cinematic mother-in-law. Case in point, Toastmaster Atishay had asked me to furnish a video answering a question. I looked and took about 10 of them, and to my eyes, each of them had plenty of mistakes. I'm frowning at the camera, it's too long, it's too short, my voice is high-pitched, so on, so forth. This insecurity is worse than the panic. After a point, the excuse snake syndrome strikes again. If I had a penny for every time I took a vow to never make an excuse or procrastinate, I would be a billionaire minus taxes by now. Playing the devil's advocate for a moment, I believe that excuse making is not all wrong. It's the current skill of the century after all. I believe the trick is to identify and walk the fine line between making excuses for random and silly chores and not shirk your responsibilities. A work that adds little or no overall value may warrant an excuse. The US presidential elections and the IPL, for instance, have no direct impact on my life. So I need to come up with an excuse to not watch the TV and divert my attention towards my to-do list. This is the time you set your excuse snake free. However, using too much of your excuse card may project you as an unreliable person and may show you as a shrinker. Excuses are much like a credit card, I would say. It is all fun till the bills come in. In another corner of the world, a 12-year-old rural kid was able to protect his family's cattle from lions during the nights by somehow using a lantern, parts of an age-old radio, and an abandoned phone to make a moving torch. He, to this mix, added perseverance, did not allow space for excuses. Remember, this kid could have held on to his kid status as his excuse. Yet here he was on his way to clinch a full scholarship to an Ivy League school. The takeaway point here: excuses and procrastination are the bars that you use to cage yourself in. For the 9-year-old me, the excuse, "the neighbor's dog ate my question" booklet, set off as a story, leaving me with equal and healthy doses of both respect and repugnance for excuses and procrastination. So the next time we face a task, laugh at the manual of excuses, chuck it, beware the fun monkey and the sand clock. Don't procrastinate, release the reins of your creative and hardworking inner beast. That is a job for all of us. And since the sands of time are running out, it is a job that should probably start today. Well, maybe not today, but definitely sometime in soon. Thank you. Over to you, Toastmaster Pavitra.
Thanks, Toastmaster Shruti. That was a great speech to tell us how to not procrastinate. Very, very informative, prepared speech section today. Very well delivered, well prepared. I enjoyed every speech that was delivered as part of this section. Next up, we have an interesting person hosting the table topic session. Shankar is a banking professional working for one of the world's largest banks in the world. And what he feels about vacations is that vacations are always exciting, fascinating, and also rejuvenates him. Since he is from Coimbatore, he prefers to visit that side of the country on the Western Ghats. Over to you, Toastmaster Shankar.
Thank you, TMOD Pavitra. Am I audible?
Yeah.
Thank you. So we all know that it is the table topic. It is one of the most interesting and exciting segment in Toastmaster. People say many reasons why they have joined in Toastmaster, but personally for me, I joined in Toastmaster to gain experience exclusively on TT session. It is not only me, people think on their feet, but also handling any toughest situation. Without any ado, let me go and call upon the first speaker. So for the benefit of the guest, so you need to speak minimum of 1 minute in order to get in for the voting and maximum of 2 minutes. And always, Medley, it is always have, it is the 597th meeting. Medley has different view when it is conducting for any session exclusive for TT topic. And a couple of weeks ago, when the table topic master presented about for and against, and last week, the Amita was presented about the different theme for the table topic. I also planning to do some of different things today. The topics are varied. One, something like it is the tip of the story, and also something which I will be showing for the situation for that you need to call upon. So for that, let me call upon the first speaker is Toastmaster Ranga. Can I have Toastmaster Ranga? Toastmaster Ranga, I think you're on mute.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Toastmaster Ranga. So if I ask you to recommend to one best movie to watch, which one would that be, Toastmaster Ranga?
My choice would be Godfather. That movie is probably the best movie I've ever seen because I had read the book earlier. And when you read a book, you always make a mental note of how the characters are, their physical description, as well as what they do in the movie. And in this particular movie, every character that I had imagined how they would look was portrayed almost exactly the way I had imagined. Whether it was the Godfather himself or whether it was his sidekick, everyone had a role to play and they played it so beautifully. And it is more a miracle that Godfather went on to win so many Academy Awards. The best in that movie, I would say, is Michael Corleone. The way that is his third son. And his third son, he is a young boy and who doesn't want to be inducted into the world of violence. But violence is thrust on him, and how he reacts to it, and how he masters it, and how he weeds out all the people in his life who have betrayed his family, comes out beautifully. And to my mind, this movie will be etched for a long, long time. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ranga. Honestly, I haven't seen that two movies. Probably I'll try to watch the movies in the coming weeks. So the next TT speaker will go to Toastmaster Dinesh. Toastmaster Dinesh. Okay, I think he's not available. So the next TT speaker is guest Sandhya Arun Kumar. Sandhya Arun Kumar, guest Sandhya Arun Kumar.
Yeah, I'm very much there.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you, Sandhya. So our topic will be so this is about the tip of the story where you need to talk about. There was a dense forest. All animals were living happily, but one day you need to continue.
There was a dense forest. All the animals were living very happily. But one day what happened, in the early morning, I went out for a walk in the dense forest. What I found was a huge rhinoceros trying to drink water there in a huge pool. The rhinoceros was bending down to take up the water. And I was very much near the pool to walk around the pool. When I lifted up the head, I saw a rhinoceros near me. Then what happened? My son cried. I woke up and it was a big dream to have a dense forest in my dream and a beautiful, huge rhinoceros in my dream. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandhya, for the nice speech. The next speaker, the TT speaker, Toastmaster Lakshmi Ramesh. Toastmaster Lakshmi Ramesh. Okay, I think she is not available. The next table topic speaker would be Toastmaster Venkatesan.
Yes, Shankar. Go ahead.
Hi. Yeah. Toastmaster Venkatesan, your topic will be, what is the one thing which immediately brings smile on your face? Toastmaster Venkatesan.
Thank you for the topic, table topic, Master Toastmaster Shankar. The one thing which immediately brings smile is whenever I can see that the needy peoples, they are getting it. Like the needy person, when they're in schools, they have to pay the fees. Immediately, somebody is sponsoring for them, and then they are continuing their studies. Like even in the company and even in my job place, the needy peoples, like they will say that we have to pay some 50,000 rupees loan and other things. And all. Those who are needy person, they need at the time we should help them. Only whenever I can see that, whenever I used to help others, I never disclosed all these details to my better off or my family. To my close friend, only I will discuss with them. I can see the energy, I can see the smile on their faces. Some people, they used to come and ask me that, sir, my brother's son, he got admission in medical college, but I want to help them, but my wife doesn't allow. She used to check my cell phone, even the bank transactions, because I got a huge amount for the loan, home loan, personal loan, and other things and all. Can you help me, sir? Then I can give it to you. Like that, I helped my colleague 4 years. But every year at the end of December, he will repay that without knowledge of his wife, like PF or gratuity or appreciation award, he used to get it. And then he used to tell me that he was the only person looking out about the value of human beings. I used to tell them, even my friends, my colleagues, money is also important in life, but the experience and giving others, the needy peoples, and then you can see the joy of them. Thank you for the nice topic, Shankar.
Thank you, Toastmaster Venkatesan, for your nice speech. Moving on to the next speaker, we have Toastmaster Periyasamy.
Yes,
Toastmaster Periyasamy. Yeah.
Yes, Shankar.
Toastmaster Periyasamy, yes, your topic always knows, correct? Picture speaks a million words. This picture speaks. You need to talk about this picture.
Yeah, thank you, Toastmaster. Thank you, Table Topic Master. Good evening, fellow Toastmaster and guest. It's like this picture, what it speaks is, it's like after having a lot of struggles in life or in a person's own life, when you win the World Cup or something, it's a great thing. This one says it's like people are putting a lot of effort, even the studies or college times or in the companies for growing in their ladders. They are putting a lot of effort. It's not easy to come. Okay, so when they put a lot of effort, when they achieve it finally, they feel a lot of happiness. It's like perseverance. So we have to put a lot of effort to get something. It's not easy to get something. Even our தலைவர் also used to say something. It's like கஷ்டப்படாம எதுவும் கிடைக்காது, அப்படி கஷ்டப்படாம கிடைக்கிறது நிலைக்காது. So we have to put a lot of effort to get something. So that will be ever for us. Thank you. Over to
thank you. Thank you, Toastmaster Periyasamy. I would request the TT speaker, please turn on your video, then let's start. Then moving on to the next speaker, do we have guest Jagir Hamir?
I'm here, sir.
Yeah. Jagir Hamir, your topic would be, if you could be any age again for 1 week, what age and why?
Yeah. Thank you, Shankar, for the topic. If I want to be age, which I want to be here, I want to go back to my college days where I enjoyed a lot. For 1 week, I want to be in that way. I've done a lot of efforts, many things gone vain, many futile efforts were there. Now I've realized I may want to live in that age. I will recollect all those things and I will enjoy those days. That was a careless period. No future, no going back and asking about the 10th, 11th studies. The only thing was the day by day we enjoyed the life. The life of a day was enjoyed and increased day by day. So I want to live a life of a day where I was in the college in the first year. And in the second year, I won the poetry award from the college. It was a really wonderful day. Even I was not aware that I am going to get the prize by the evening. So I want to go back to the day where my memories take me to a very, very enchanting efforts. Today, people take a lot of efforts. Many go futile. But that time, whatever I did, it paid me a lot. I was a member of NSS. I was a member of NCC. I was an under officer. So those things enriched me. I have done so many RD parades in Delhi in my tenure. So I want to go back to that area. Again, I want to have a march in coming RD parade in Delhi. Thank you.
Thank you, guest Jagir Hamir. So next topic, next TT speaker would be Toastmaster Ramesh Murugan.
Hey, thank you, Shankar.
Thank you, Ramesh. Your story, always exciting, correct? It was a cold and rainy night. You had just settled down with a book when suddenly you heard a noise in your garden. Please continue, Ramesh.
Thank you, Shankar. Topic like this would naturally our mind goes like this. We start with a blank, no idea. The moment you get this kind of topics, this kind of story thing, and what goes immediately is the smile, which comes immediately in our mind. That means we are thinking deeply about the topic, what you are given, and the garden. So some noise is coming actually, as Toastmaster Pavitra was mentioning about the vacation. I was also deeply thinking about when was my next vacation. I need to plan for it. So all these going in my back, and I'm staying very positive. To every day I pray God to be very positive that I should not get any result of positive. And I'm really scared in wearing this mask. Wearing a mask, it becomes very, very suffocation in this time. I don't know how people are wearing. I'm not able to wear that no more than 5 minutes. This is now I'm staying like a cave in the world now. So all these kind of sound, whatever you are telling, it is really scaring for me. And now I learned the new skill no, this is a new skill I learned. A very good skill actually. People go to gym and all these places to be fit. I feel this is one of the best exercise everyone should try. Finally, we are all eagerly waiting for Diwali release. Wish you all a very happy Diwali. In the first history of Toastmasters table topics, I am making a screen share and then giving this topic over to Shankar.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ramesh. I think you're very well covered about it. Let me share my screen again. Okay. So the next TT speaker would be Dr. Sambat Sauri Rajan. Sir, are you there? Dr. Sambat Sauri Rajan. Okay. Then I will go to guest Manu Mogan.
Yeah, I'm here.
Hi, Manu. So your topic will be before Facebook, WhatsApp, social media, I had a life.
Yeah, I do completely agree with that. It is when I started using Facebook, WhatsApp, and social media. Initially, it was like excitement. I felt like I have been connected with all my friends all the time. But as time goes on, later, I mean, I could see and I could understand as I matured by age, I could understand that actually I didn't connect with people. It was disconnecting me from the real world. That is when I started uh, de- uh, deactivating Facebooks for some time. Not just Facebook, be it any social media, you have to detoxing yourself from that, so that you can realize that what real life is. Go for a trekking, go and talk with your friends personally rather than texting or making a video call. Even medley, I think, have experienced only virtual thing. If it is a physical, if I can get in personal with people, it would have been better, and I'm looking forward to that day. Over to you, Shankar.
Thank you, guest Manu Mogan. So the next TT speaker would be Toastmaster Mogana Sundaram.
Hello, Shankar.
Hi, Toastmaster Mogana Sundaram. Your topic will be, it's a quote, correct? So do you need to agree or not? You need to say there's no reasons to have a plan B because it distracts from plan A, told by William Smith. Do you agree?
Thank you, Toastmaster Shankar. I will completely agree with the quote. There is no reason to have a plan B, but because it distracts from plan A. If you have a plan A, means I think the plan B is a safety net. If the plan A fails, you have to put all the effort from a plan A. You have to. So I think there is no reason to. I think plan A is best and don't have to go back to plan B or to Toastmaster Shankar.
Thank you, Mogana Sundaram. So the next TT speaker would be Toastmaster Lavanya. Do we have Lavanya? Okay. Next, the speaker would be guest Kumar Mani. Guest Kumar Mani. I think we don't have him. Guest Sweta. Guest Sweta. Okay. I think she's not available. Then do we have guest Vinod? Okay. Guest Vinod. Then do we have guest Dr. Rahima? Dr. Rahima. So then moving on to the next speaker, do we have guest Murali?
Yes, available, Toastmaster.
Oh, okay. Murali, your topic would be, so this is the coin of 5 rupees and it was released in 2015. You need to talk about any interesting event happened in 2015.
No, I don't know. It broke. Your voice broke, Toastmaster.
Okay, that is the picture of 5 rupee coin, which was released in 2015 year. You need to talk about the year 2015. What has happened in your life? Any interesting event?
No, I did not get the topic. And your voice broke. I don't know if I am not audible.
Okay. See, tell me something happened in 2015
Yeah,
about
now
in your
you're
life
okay.
or history. Okay. Tell me something that happened in year 2015, whether in your personal history, personal story or in your history.
2015. Yeah, 2015. So thank for this talk. 2015 was, one of the, in my personal life, it was one of the best years, I would say.
I think Murali, your voice is not audible.
Yeah. Am I audible now?
Yeah.
Yeah. So thanks, Shankar, for the talk. And this, 2015 was in my professional life. It was very satisfying year. That was when we got into a promotion as an one-man manager. So that was the time when, with of hard work, I moved this particular manager role. So that was very pressure for me that year. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Murali. So the next table topic speaker would be guest Kusumagali Jain. Do we have Kusumagali Jain? Okay, so I think he is not available. Any volunteers to take the next few topics? I'm just giving for 2 volunteers. Any volunteer would like to take Cheran? Hello? Any volunteer, will you take up?
Shankar
I
Murli
see
here.
some
You
names
can
like
take the topic. Sorry,
Lavanya
I missed.
and Kumar Mani who are not playing any roles. Maybe you can call them. I see some names in the participants list.
Yeah, Guru, I called them already. Guru, Sweta, guest Vinod. Or
There's
any
one
tag.
and Kumar Mani who are available in the participants.
I could also able to see someone named Varun.
Yeah, these people. Maybe you can open up the participants list on one side. You will see who are all currently live and available. Yeah, I see. I currently see 3 names.
Yeah, base list I have given them, but not. So any tag player would like to want to take up the next topic? Tag player or role player?
Is it okay if I join? Timer Ramesh here.
Yeah, of course, Ramesh Rajendran.
Okay.
So your topic would be the best vacation in your life. Toastmaster Ramesh Rajendran.
Thank you to TT Master for the topic. Best vacation in my life. I guess I would say this is a place where I, along with my friends, went. That is in near the Nagarkoil region. So we started all this this by night, say I guess 10 or 11. So I, along with my 6 to 7 friends and along with my teacher, so we went in Nagarkoil. In between, it's still, since it's a hilly region, we were able to taste different types of snacks on the while. But there was one particular snack which I was kind of didn't like it. That was like with the banana they dipped in the bhaji and they gave me. It was kind of contrasting because I had bhaji as a savory item or not like a sweet. So that I was not able to enjoy that. But other than that, went to one of my teachers' relatives' place. We stayed there and we enjoyed like anything because Nagarkoil, many things are famous. So I and my friends, though it was not planned, we were able to learn a lot. We were able to enjoy a lot. And while when we were all sleeping in each other's shoulder, suddenly accident happened, and I was so scared. Like I woke up, and my friend also woke up, who was sleeping next to my shoulder. I was sleeping in another guy's shoulder. That guy sleeping in the door. What happened was the cow came in between the car, and the horn of the cow got broken since it hit very hard, and it took 10 minutes. Then somehow we were able to reach on hand. That vacation I will not. It's not a vacation, but it's a trip, so that I will not be forgetting. Since I went along with my friends, but I went with my family in Tirupati and all, so that is also there. So there are many vacations. So this is one of the distinct one which I would like to mention. So thank you, TT Master, for giving this wonderful topics. Thank you. Over to you, Table Topic Master.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ramesh, for sharing the information and also volunteer. Let me show up the next topic. Probably, if anyone want to take up the topic, please feel free to pitch in. This is again about the picture speaks a million words. So, anyone would like to take up this topic? So, if not, probably I will give the stadium back to TMOD Pavitra. I'm signing off and back to TMOD Pavitra. Over to you.
Thank you, Shankar. That was a super innovative table topic session with a variety of topics, be it stories, be it pictures. It was very, very interesting. Thanks, Toastmaster Shankar, for that session. Coming back to the story and the theme, vacation, right? After missing our flight, we shamelessly spent the next hour calling our admin team and telling them, hey, we missed our flight because we overslept, right? Then the next few minutes we spent in sort of trying to get refunds, but all our attempts were futile. So we couldn't get refunds, and we booked a very expensive flight 2 days after the scheduled date of departure. So we were a group of 5 of us. We ranted for a while about how none of us have ever missed a flight because someone had, because we all had overslept. We decided that we will enjoy this vacation. We will not rant. We will just think of it as 2 days which are carefree and relaxing. So that's when we all went out and decided to buy some clothes, because we only had office clothes, because remember, it was an office meeting that we all went to Goa for. And then we had bought clothes to dress up, and we went to this beach called Candlein Beach, where there was water sports. So in a few minutes we were sitting on the banana boat ride. I'm not sure how many of you have seen that banana boat ride that happens in Goa. We sat on the boat, all the 5 of us, and he took us deep into the waters. And the moment we thought the ride was over, we all screamed, but little did we know that we were going to be toppled. So the boat toppled and all of us were into the water. And I went deep into the water, and because I was wearing a jacket, I came up afloat on the sea. And I see only 4 heads. We are 5 of us, but I see only 4 heads, and I immediately start screaming and I say, where is Shruti? A few seconds later, she shouts saying, I am drowning. So that's when we all had a very big laugh, and we told Shruti that, hey, you're wearing a life jacket. There's no way you're going to drown. So this office tour turned into a great adventure, I would say. And I made friends for life with my colleagues during that trip. Now we move on to the most important part of the Toastmaster section, which is the evaluation section. I would like to call upon DTM Guru Prasad to take us through this evaluation section. Over to you, DTM Guru Prasad.
Master of the Day, Toastmaster Kavita. Toastmasters, guests and friends, welcome back to this session now. Am I audible?
Yes.
So the session where I was talking about the team in your excursion or your vacation, there will be a small team which will be working along with you, but just making sure you enjoy and your experiences are fine. Here we come to do some sort of a debriefing or coming back, explaining what we did, how things went well, and things that could have been better to make this experience more enjoyable. As a beginning, there are 4 such guides of certain individual travelers in this picnic, whom they had watched, and they're going to deliver what was their opinion about the speaker's presentation. To begin with, I will be inviting Toastmaster Surya to evaluate the speech of Toastmaster Renu. And of course, we all know Toastmaster Surya, the one role model vice president education that Medley had an year ago. Now, then he called it a day and said, I'm going to do everything that a Toastmaster can do beyond VP alone. He's doing great, and he has been a recent winner of humorous speech contest as well. For him, he has a memorable vacation in a place called Kalimpong, West Bengal. He still remembers it because that is where, apart from flying high in public speaking, he also flew high using paragliding. He remembers that experience as the most memorable vacation he has ever had. Inviting you, Toastmaster Surya, for your evaluation.
Thank you, General Evaluator. In my point of view, the best way to explain deliver any kind of speech which has the scope of, especially which has the scope of having body language is through story. And you did that perfectly, Renu. There are a few things that I liked about your speech, which I'm going to list it in order. First thing is the comfort level that you had. You chose the right thing, standing and speaking rather than sitting and delivering the speech, which made you to give a comfortable transition in your speeches from the beginning till the end. Next thing was the eye contact. I felt that you had a perfect eye contact throughout, right from the beginning till the end of your speech. I felt you were looking at you and you were looking at the camera. And I felt so, I think so, everyone would have felt the same way when you delivered the speech. That particularly showed the confidence that you had when you were delivering the speech. And the third thing was the vocal variety, especially. And you had actually mastered this vocal variety art, and as you always do it during every single speeches that you do. Now, coming to the recommendations. So from the project point of view, I saw a couple of things which were missing in your speech, which was the purposeful movement and the unintentional movement, right? Though you were standing and delivering the speech, I could not able to see any kind of movement. You had space on both the sides. You could have tried moving instead of standing in one place and delivering. For example, I listened to an incident, a sentence where you were explaining, I let her off in the beach and she started running. Maybe I'll show you probably by standing. I let her off in the beach. She started running. So probably you could have tried that way to bring in more transition and screen movement. But you were saying that in standing position. So that I felt, that kind of a transition I felt could have been brought in. And the second recommendation is using headphones, probably a headphone with mic closer to your mouth, right? So people, those who were using speakers in their phone or in their laptop would have found difficult. Since I was using headphones, I could able to clearly listen to your voice. But when someone is using speakers, mobile phone or laptop speakers, they would have found it difficult. Maybe you can try using a headphone, a wired or even a Bluetooth headphone that would help you. With that recommendations, I would like to give it back to the general evaluator of the day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Surya, for your analysis and evaluation of the speech. Next, we move on to the next evaluator, Toastmaster Pranav, who will be evaluating the speech of Toastmaster Jagan, his icebreaker. Toastmaster Pranav, even before joining Toastmaster, he had that tag international. Only Toastmaster added its name when he joined with us. He has traveled a lot of countries because he's basically a business development professional. Because of it, he has traveled a lot of countries. I think he has mentioned about 17 countries. But he was also born and brought up in countries. So for him, his whole life had been a vacation, traveling around. With these words, I would like to invite Toastmaster Pranav, an active, enthusiastic role player of Medley, taking up any role in events and meetings, to evaluate Toastmaster Jagan's speech. Over to you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your wonderful introduction. So I'm here to evaluate Jagan's icebreaker. Well, seriously, you know what? That seriously did not feel like an icebreaker at all. That was professionalism on another level from Jagan, as we know. Well, let's see how he performed. He started a beautiful introduction. And the great thing that he did in the speech was he brought about expressions, dramatized so wonderfully in each and every phase of his life. He started showing that photo of his. That was a very nice way to start it. Bringing up various analogies like Bear Grylls, a life like Bear Grylls, then the voice from the South. He stood and delivered
Pranav, your voice is breaking, not coming through. Pranav, can you hear me?
He pointed at his photo. Yeah, can you hear me?
No, we lost you for almost 30 seconds.
Okay, is it audible now?
Yes.
Okay, sorry for that. I think there's some network issue. So Jagan mentioned, Jagan mentioned 5 important points. That's what I was coming to say. I think all of that connected very well with the audience about, your name is Chakravarti, you look so fair, but are you a North Indian? I have faced the same issues during those teenage years, and when everything, a lot of people used to come and tell me that you look like a North Indian and one set fellow, but that was not the case. So I connected on a lot of things. And he beautifully described his journey on how, he developed a taste and his passion for music right from the younger age up to this age. I think those were all very good things. And most importantly, I could, relate to the mechanical engineering part of it and the college part. I am also the poor guy who unfortunately did engineering, biggest mistake of my life. And then same thing working in IT. So for me as an evaluator, I think I connected. He smartly brought those points knowing I was his evaluator, I think. And the Infosys part of it. And what a beautiful ending. Life is too bright, so is light. I think one of the important aspects that we look for an icebreaker is for a very good ending. An impactful close is very important in an icebreaker. The structure of his speech was like really great. For icebreakers, usually we don't give any recommendations because it's your first speech in your pathway. But if I just wanted to give one small thing, usually what people would recommend is they would like you to share as to how Toastmasters impacted you, a short gist of your journey in Toastmasters and how it helped you enhance yourself as a person and your communication skills. Maybe you could have just brought about that as a short point in the end. All and all, apart from that, I don't have anything else to recommend to you, Jagan. And I wish you all the best for your future speeches and look forward to evaluating many more. Thank you, and over to you, G. Guru.
Thanks, Pranav, giving your evaluation for your fellow college mate as well. We move on to the next evaluator. I'm totally against the way certain people introduce certain. They say this person needs no introduction. Then why are you here to introduce somebody at all? But unfortunately, sorry to use the word, obviously that statement fits well now for the next evaluator, who is distinguished Toastmaster Suganti. But I am going to introduce her anyway, because we cannot fit every person into one or two speeches and one or two introductions. Well, much had been said about her presence in Toastmasters, her roles, and her various activities. Here's one small introduction from my side. When I joined Toastmasters, after a few months or so, one day I had Suganti visiting Medley. At that time, she was not a member of giving a speech. I saw a small change in the kind of speeches being delivered by typical Toastmasters. She was very focused, very painfully prepared, to use the word is right, make sure audience get her point. And I was talking to the next person, and she gave a good speech. And that person told me, mark my words, she is going to reach places one day. I never knew Suganti, I never knew the person sitting next to me on that day. Today I revealed the secret. That person sitting next to me on that day was Toastmaster Tyagarajan, who is also one of the gurus of Suganti. So let me invite Suganti to evaluate the speech of Toastmaster Sampath. Before that, she has found this whole year 2020 as a vacation because of obvious reasons we all know. And she is spending this time like how you should do normally in her vacations, to just sit down, relax, and retrospect all that happened to make sure that her future is well planned. Or to you, Suganti, for evaluation.
And thank you, DTM Guru, for the kind words and recollection of a beautiful memory. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, Toastmasters and guest. Toastmaster Sampath delivered his project number 2 from level 1 titled Overcome the Conflict in Relationships. His project objective was to deliver a speech today, get the feedback, and deliver the same speech again, incorporating this feedback. Toastmaster Sampath, congratulations on completing your project number 2. Amazing level of confidence for a speaker who is just delivering a project 2. Kudos to you. All through the speech, you had a calm and composed look on your face. This projected how much you are quite confident and interested in delivering the speech. Also, you had an occasional smile, which also complemented your speech. Amazing level of confidence, especially that you are delivering your second speech in an online platform. And you also took the additional effort to stand and deliver a speech. This also showed that you had spent some time probably trying to get yourself comfortable with the online platform. Kudos to all the effort that you have taken in delivering this speech. Toastmaster Sampath, what I particularly liked in today's speech was, of course, the choice of a topic, a very pertinent topic, which I believe anybody in the audience in Medley could very well relate to, whether they had a conflict in a relationship or they are trying to get points to better a relationship. I'm sure it suited very well to all levels of audience. Very thoughtful in taking such a particular topic. Also, I like the way that you brought out a personal example with your wife about how you didn't do well in the interview and how the wife preparing a very good dinner changed the perception of how life can be looked at. This added more meaning to this particular title and how you will be able to project it to the rest of the audience. And of course, the third one is you also had meaningful hand gestures that complemented your speech. Toastmaster Sampath, if I can give you a few areas of suggestion. First is You did have one personal example, but then taking a topic such as a conflict in a relationship, I really wish that you had demonstrated one particular example where you were able to resolve a conflict, could be in your personal life or a professional life. That could have helped the audience to understand all the other points that you had mentioned theoretically. One example or story will remain in the memory of the audience more better than trying to listen to all the rest of the points or tips that you gave us in the form of a theory. The second thing is, although you were calm and composed, you could have had few pauses. For example, when you said, people say if you have a good relationship, you will be happy. Then you went on to say, no. It all came gada 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 for me. If you had asked a question and then said no, that gets the attention of the audience. Okay, you're trying to say something exactly opposite, and I will try a little, listen a little more attentively. And the third suggestion is, you made a very good attempt in standing and delivering a speech. See if you can have a little more light on your face. All in all, a very meaningful, well-delivered speech. If only you could incorporate these small suggestions, I'm sure you will be able to deliver a more interesting speech next time. All the very best, and over to DTM Guru.
Thank you very much, DTM Suganti, for the clear words of advice and clear words of appreciation from Toastmaster Sampath's speech. We move on to the next evaluator, Toastmaster Krishna Kishore, who came intimately active like a storm, reached various places, various goals. Now, in spite of his geographical location, he is really internationally connected. He attends our meetings sincerely, not just attends the meetings and us. He also plays active roles. And as an example of today, he is going to deliver an evaluation. He says by the time he reaches 40, I don't know what is his age right now, he wants to make all the 365 days a vacation. He doesn't believe in taking one day vacation as a one day event or a 1 week event. He wants to make it completely a vacation full life. I really wish him all the best in his endeavor. I'm handing over to evaluate the speech of Toastmasters.
Thank you very much, General Evaluator. Good afternoon, my dear fellow Toastmasters and guests, and a very special good afternoon to my speaker, Shruti. So it was a very wonderful and very constructive speech for her second speech is what I felt. The reason she gave some title, the dog ate my homework. And when I was listening to her, I understood that her excuse was, the dog didn't eat my homework. So having said that, you had a great content and delivery, Shruti. So the hook was one of your best aspects of your speech. This conflict in your speech and the way you delivered it on stage created a hook to each one of us, because whoever sees the agenda were seeing one title and you are delivering it in a different perspective. So this created a hook to stay back with you for the next 7 minutes. So you did a great job in hooking all of us to the screens. Next, with this hook, you had a great wit and humor throughout your speech. So you were connecting with so many good experiences, which many of us might have faced, with a subtle way of humor, and you are enacting them. So this is the second best point I have liked in your speech. And moving further, the third highlight I would say is the character construction. So you had a great opening with the hook. You have engrossed all the audience to the screens. Next, you had 5 different characters of your own internal voice who comes up with different excuses at different parts of the play. So that was very well constructed. Your thought of getting all these characters and demonstrating all your excuses was very well received by me as an audience to your speech. Moving on, having said that, you had a great hook and you had a great speech content and you had a great wit and humor. There are few aspects which might have taken this speech to a next level. Number one, all of these characters, when you were delivering these characters or you're expressing these characters, all of them were unfolding in your mind. I could see that with your slightest smile on your face. You are seeing all of those characters in your mind. But it did not unfold it to us as an audience. You directly went into a sensible being, fun monkey. So you could have stayed back, demonstrated one of these characters, how that comes to life in your mind. So then all of us as an audience would be sticking in that path, and we will also be evaluating with your characters, like all the 5 characters. So we are connected to your path and we are traveling along with you. So that is what I felt. You could have spent a little time in taking us into one of those characters or 2 of those characters and take us to other 5 of them. So then it would have been a great experience for all of us as an audience. The second feedback I would give is, I don't know whether you were seeing notes or not, because I cannot comment on that, but I could see that your eye contact was flipping up and down. So you could have avoided that. If you are taking the notes, I would say sticking 4 or 5 points, not continuously looking at them and just delivering it. And the third one is the conclusion. I felt like you had a very great story and you just crash landed. Is what I felt as your audience. So overall, it was a great story. You had a great content to deliver your speech. And besides that, if you work on these recommendations, I think this would be a best speech for you. All the very best, Shruti.
Thank you very much. It was very crisp and clear to the speaker. I hope so. So, speakers, I hope you really enjoyed people's observation on your vacation experience in the form of Toastmasters meeting, and you take up their sessions to make it more memorable, more experiential in future. So, audience, particularly guests, I hope you now understood what is that secret Toastmasters course beyond asking people to come up and speak. We also listen and give our opinion in a most constructive and positive way, so that the speaker gets more enthusiastic to speak and excel in his or her career. Well, it's not just these 3 or 4 people who have given direct opinion on specific speeches. Now, I also have a team of observers who have helped you enjoy this whole vacation journey of 597 in a better way. I am going to invite the first person who helps you understand. In a group travel, you always go to a place and you spend more time. You don't have time for visiting the next place. And suddenly you are stuck. You go back to the room without seeing much in your tour. This person makes sure that that does not happen. And he watches the clock throughout the meeting, make sure every event happens at the prescribed time. Now, he is going to give his feedback on how he observed punctuality of Medley meeting and the members' presentations. He is the timer, Ramesh Rajendran, who is an aspiring CA finalist. He is waiting to become an official chartered accountant, a very enthusiastic, sports-loving person, ready to meet the life with all its challenges by growing through the experience of Toastmasters. He loves unplanned vacations than a well-planned ones. He says there's more thrill and excitement as well as lessons to be learned in unplanned vacations than typical ones. Over to you, Toastmaster Ramesh, for your observation on the timing of this program.
Oh, sorry, I just muted my audio. Very good evening to you all, and thanks for that wonderful introduction, Guru Prasad sir. So as a timer, I have recorded. Before that, I would like to share a screen. Hope it's visible. Just give me a thumbs up when it's visible. Okay. So yeah, so overall the meeting was very nice and very beautifully. It was well crafted, and I would like to before showing the report, I would like to thank 2 people who made it. Like you can say, like in IPL, there is a title called Game Changer. So I would like two people to thank. One is General Evaluator Group sir. Actually, he used his experience and very cleverly introduced us during the report time, not before that. Due to that, we were able to save 3 to 4 minutes. And table topics, as usual, most of the participants were not participated. So only 10 participated. So with this too, we were able to come beyond that. I guess we are 10 minutes behind. I mean, before we have reached. So we are. I mean, we have the 10 minutes of question time, we can say. So moving on with the project speaker, Renu Narayan, she has taken 8 minutes, 23 second not qualified. Jagannathan, 4 minutes, 41 second qualified. Sampath, 5 minutes, 34 second qualified. And Shruti Prakash, 5 minutes, 51 second qualified. So these are the three. So we are able to get a free time of 5 minutes, 31 seconds. So now moving on to table topic speech. So 10 people have been spoken the table topic. So Ranga has taken 1 minute 30 seconds. He is qualified. Guest Sandhya, 42 seconds not qualified. Venkatesh, 2 minutes 7 seconds qualified. Pereswamy, 1 minute 9 seconds qualified. Guest Sahir, 1 minute 37 seconds qualified. Ramesh Murugan, 2.17 seconds qualified. Guest Manu Mohan, 1 minute 17 seconds qualified. Mohana Sundaram, 33 seconds not qualified. Murali guest, 1 minute 23 seconds qualified. Then myself, actually instead of giving introduction, this is a little more introduction I gave in table topic about myself regarding the theme also as well. So 2 minute 9 second. And moving on to evaluator, evaluation speech, Surya has taken 2 minutes 55 seconds. Pranav has taken 3 minutes 8 seconds, qualified both of them. Sugandhi Periyasamy has taken 3 minutes 49 seconds, not qualified. Krishna Kishore has taken 4 minutes 11 seconds, not qualified. So this is my final report, and luckily this meeting we had, since I like to play with numbers, I just showed the graph, that's it. So we were able to save nearly 10 minutes, and thank you for presenting this wonderful opportunity to me to be as a timer for today's meeting. Over to you, General Evaluator Group Sir.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Ramesh, for the positive note that we are progressing over punctually on this meeting. That's the good news. Well, in travels, in your vacations, there are also other people who just keep watching the kids, particularly that they don't do overdo. They don't go and give a hand to the monkey in a zoo. They don't try to jump into a wall that is prohibited. There are some senior, people from the family who always keep track of others behaving properly or working safely. There's one such person in Toastmasters meeting who keeps watching all the speeches, whether they are talking properly or not using unnecessary words that distract the audience. It's called R counter. Toastmaster Sharanya is going to has played the role of R counter here. Sharanya is equal to a meticulous meddler. That's the one word I remember about her. She does anything and everything if you tell her in the name of Toastmasters. She has played any kind of roles. She does it very sincerely. Tomorrow you tell her making upma will make you a better Toastmaster. She'll come to the bucket of upma. She's such a sincere Toastmaster. Really, we are proud of having such people in Delhi. For her, vacation is a dream. She always wants to go on vacation, enjoy. So far, she has never traveled beyond Tamil Nadu. I sincerely wish that she gets opportunities to go outside of the state, outside of the country, all over the world, travel both business and pleasure. All the best, and Sharanya, please submit your
Let me share my screen. So today we had like a lot of clear speeches, like Toastmaster Renu Narayan, she gave a clear speech. Jagannathan, it was a clear speech. Toastmaster Sampath Kumar, there was like then was repeated several times and there was a very small pause. And Shruti gave a clear speech. Moving on to the evaluators, Toastmaster Surya used but twice and was repeated several times. And Toastmaster Pranav, distinguished Toastmaster Sugandhi Periyasamy, and Toastmaster Krishna Kishore all gave a clear speech. clear evaluation. Moving on to the TT table topic speeches. Toastmaster Rangarajan sir, he gave a clear speech. Guest Sandhya, and was repeated several times. And Toastmaster Venkateshan, was repeated and was repeated. And there was a very small pause in between. And Toastmaster Periyasamy, so was repeated several times. Toastmaster Zakir Amir gave a clear speech, and Toastmaster Ramesh Mukhin, he had a small pause in between. There were like two pauses. Toastmaster Mogal Sundar, there was and sounds was there like two times and three times. And yes, Murali used and was repeated several times, and there was twice there was a pause. And Toastmaster Ramesh Rajendran, so was repeated twice. So that's with the counter report. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you for the detailed report, Toastmaster Sharanya. We move on to the next person. Normally in travel, we also have one person who takes care that all our needs are clearly specified and we are given. Could be keep your dresses safe, a room for you, a place for you, pulling you for lunch and dinner proper times, and making sure that you are ready enough to enjoy the vacation. Such a person here is called a grammarian, who just listens and follows up that speakers are making best use of Toastmasters learnings and giving the speeches at their best. So to play the role of grammarian, we had invited Toastmaster Rohit, and he had actually happily accepted and done it. Rohit is basically from Cognizant. He is another IT person, as today's couple of speeches mentioned about being in IT. He believes in keeping everything simple and normal. He used to enjoy vacation in his childhood. Every year they used to go out. It was a fantastic experience. But nowadays, since he is in Chennai as a guest and his family is elsewhere, his vacation is simply going back to his family and spending time happily with them. So he considers meeting his family itself is a vacation. We sincerely pray and wish that this gets resolved and he lives totally with his family in a single location, enjoying every minute of it. Over to you, Rohit, for your evaluation on the grammar usage.
All right. Thank you, sir. All right. To give you the grammarian's report for today's session, for today's meeting, let me share my screen. Yeah, are you able to see my screen?
Yes,
Hello?
Rohit. Yes, yes.
Okay, all right. So anyway, we had today the speakers used a wide range of words, phrases, and quotes. So I was able to capture most of them. Pardon me because I had a few connectivity issues in between, so I got dropped out. So probably I would have missed out a few here and there. So please pardon me if I missed out anybody's best quotes or thoughts that was used during the course of the meeting. So the word of the day was used by two speakers. Once by the TMOD Pavitra, and again by one of the TT speakers, that is guest Zakir Amir. He used the word of the day twice, word of the day twice in his speech. So apart from that, we had a good usage of words and thoughts by speakers. So just to share a few of them, let me share. Renu Nair at Toastmaster Renu Nair used the word phrase "caught between the devil and the deep sea." Toastmaster Jagannathan used means the world, voice from the south corner. Life is so light that is bright, that is so bright. Then Toastmaster Sampath Kumar used navigate the whole world. And next, it was Speaker Shruti Prakash. She had her speech was riddled with good choice of words and phrases and rich language. To share a few, it is bewildered, walking down the aisle, symmetric mother-in-law, devil's advocate, making a penny for every excuse, release the reins, signs of time, repugnance, plausible excuse for the benefit of the guests and the speakers and the members. I just pull out meaning of few phrases. Speaker Shruti used, one of them being sands of time, which means way of referring to passing time. Repugnance, non-playable, that means non-playable character. Next is plausible excuse, is the excuse with the deceptive appearance of truth or reason. So these are the very good phrases that use. I was able to pull out the meaning of these phrases. So possibly anybody who would wish to use in your regular speeches or whenever you speak, you can always use these words. Next happens to be speaker Toastmaster Krishna Kishore. He used the word crash landed, and just somewhere during the course of the meeting, I figured out one of the speakers used two words which could have been corrected. I think there were grammatical errors. One of them being competency person. The person used this word competency person when it refers to a person. It should be corrected. It should be used as a competent person. Number one, and number two is wake me up. So this is something that had happened in the past. So it can be rectified and used as woke me up. And and I think these are two suggestions that I could figure out with one of the speakers. So that's it from my end with regard to the grammarian's report. So over to you, G. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rohit. That concludes the specific observation part of this. Now I come back here to give my overall observation as the evaluation team's lead. Audience, I hope you would have enjoyed this meeting throughout and made your own observations. Keep them ready with you because TMOD will come back to you with some voting process soon. Be ready to vote your best observation or the observed role players of the day. Well, this vacation travel started on dot, on time, 14:55. And our guide, our travel guide, namely the TMOD, set the travel plan very clear to us by explaining the agenda, and all people who will be supporting this trip were called for and introduced. That went well. Then the travelers with advanced booking, the project speakers, they really delivered to their best. They really completed their project to the given objectives. It was really enjoyable. Particularly, and my specific observations in one or two lines are, of course, Renu's speech. So in my mobile dictionary, if I say storytelling, find the meaning, it always says Renu. She's synonymous with storytelling. I enjoyed, but as the evaluator said, because of a small technical glitch, people like us were able to understand the story because we know her voice, we have listened to her, we know her speaking style, we were able to get the speech, but that would have been avoided. Toastmaster Jagan, the usual, he took over the stage just like that with his innovative way of giving an icebreaker. Then he went on explaining various stages and various advices to that kid in that book. I really like that different approach. However, there are a couple of words of advice. Maybe you could have used the Zoom background to show your photograph, Jagan, because that gives a better picture than you put on my camera. Two words of caution here is one is during the identity of yourself, you are associated with various communities in the past. Be very careful because India is a community and a community of caste country, and we also have a taboo restriction not to go deep into sex, religion, or politics. Be aware of this. And other one is a couple of places you use is Tamil slang. Good, it gives a natural feeling, but try to add with one word or two words give an English meaning because not all the audience is aware of what they will. Otherwise, as usual, I enjoyed your speech, Jagan. Third is Sampath. Yes, as the evaluator said, speech was very good, and I still remember the word. You will not become competent in one day, but one day you will become competent. What words of wisdom and clairvoyance from your mother? I salute her, Sampath. As evaluator said, one slight suggestion is just practice your lighting in the place where you're going to sit down and see whether light evenly distributed. personal space. Lastly, Toastmaster Shruti Prakash. That was a really uh, humor connected but well messaged speech. I really enjoyed listening to your speech, Toastmaster Shruti. Excuse me. I never had a dog in my house, nor a neighbor who has a dog. So I ended up doing all my homework throughout my school and college days. I really like your speech, and of course, the evaluator. All the evaluators were very objective, very clear in their evaluations. I like Surya's sudden plan to even enact it when he had a point to make, and Pranav just chilling with his classmate and sharing that a part of evaluation. But one place I disagree with you, Pranav. It is not necessary that the speaker should include his Toastmasters experience because he has just joined. He's giving a Toastmasters speech as an icebreaker. Secondly, it's not that always icebreakers need not be given advice because all icebreaker speakers are not freshers. In our case, Jagan is not giving his first ever speech here. You can feel free to give certain suggestions. No problem, but your evaluations were good. Of course, Suganti gave a very clear observation. Most of us felt that Suganti was speaking on behalf of us. That's the point she made in her evaluation. Lastly, Krishna Kushore, of course, he shared the way how we enjoyed the speech of Toastmaster Shruti. So all the evaluator speakers did their good job, and the current booking passengers who joined in the last minute test table topics were also good, particularly guest Zakir Manu Mohan, who talked about the impact of social media. However, I slightly differ from you. You need not restrict social media, deactivate social media, but you can restrict your usage. They are required, but not at this level. And Ramesh Murugan, hats off to you for your first ever in the world suddenly showing a picture during a table topics. That was amazing, Ramesh. I really enjoyed. Of course, there were some calls and missing Toastmasters. One word of advice to Toastmaster, table topic master, and all future table topic masters is keep the participants list from Zoom on your right side so that you will know who is active and who is not, so that you can call another person. So I enjoyed today's vacation perfectly as by also playing this role. It was one more enjoyable vacation for the medley, hoping to get into much more events like this. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you so much, DTM Guru Prasad, an enriching evaluation session as usual. Thank you for making it light-hearted and also giving some keen observation points for all of us for some scope of improvement. Right. Thank you so much. Now we will move on to cast our votes for the best speakers and the role players. So we have the voting link up already.
I think something is wrong. We're not able to check the boxes.
Is it?
Yeah.
I'm able to do it.
I see.
Yeah.
How do you do it? Oh, okay.
So actually, you're the co-host, so you'll not be able to do it.
Yeah, I got it. I got it just now. Sorry.
No, I'm not able to.
Oh my God, if it comes from presiding officer, it's serious.
So there are already members voting, so I don't think so there is issue with the link.
Yeah, I was able to complete.
I was also able to complete.
Yes, it's working now.
All right. Hope everybody has voted. Moving on to the surprise session by our Toastmaster Lavanya. Lavanya describes herself as a literature graduate. She says initially it was difficult, but reading books taught her empathy. She loves reading self-help books and women-based short stories and poetry. On the theme, Lavanya says vacation gives physical and psychological health benefits. And she says her favorite vacation spot is Munnar. Over to you, Lavanya, Toastmaster Lavanya.
A beggar had been sitting in the side of the road for 30 years on top of a box asking for money. A man who was watching the beggar asked him, "What is there in the box?" He replied that it is just some old box that he had been sitting for 30 years. The man asked him, "Have you ever seen what's inside?" The beggar gets up, opens the lid of the box. Good afternoon, Toastmasters, and yes, this is
Afternoon.
the book review session. And the aforementioned parable is from the book which I'm going to review today. So what happened next? The beggar opened the box, saw it was full of gold. What he wanted and what he was asking for was already with him. It is said, the book, that we are the kind of beggar looking for happiness from external things like a job, a relationship, money. But the gold is already inside us. And we have been looking for it outside. We have to look within, and the gold is the present moment. Yes, you could have guessed by now what is the genre of the book. This is a self-help book. The book I'm referring to is The Power of Now. The author's name is Eckhart Tolle. So why did I choose this book? I've been brought up listening to spiritual stories, and these are my inspirations too. So sometime back, I watched a video which said 7 books that will change your life forever. This video grabbed my attention, and one of the books was Power of Now. This is yet another spiritual enlightenment guide, and I was able to completely relate with this book. So the author in the introduction speaks about how this book came into existence. He says he was sitting on a park bench and he was super depressed, deep level depression where he wanted to kill himself. He had thought that I cannot live with myself. Suddenly he noticed, are they two of me or one of me? Because if there is I who can't live with myself, there must be two of me. This is where he realized that there is ego, the body, where there is suffering, versus the true identity, which is unchanged at the soul level, which is you. How can we live from our core? It is just by living this moment, living now, freeing ourselves from our thoughts, observations, good, bad, judgment, being fully present in the now, will be able to tap into our consciousness. This is the core message of the book. Eckhart says, once you bring your mind back to this present moment, you will discover a sense of wonder like that you have experienced since a child. As you're living more consciously and being fully present in this moment, you will find your decision to be better, the relationship will improve, and a sense of peace will return to your life. After all, you cannot be fully present in this moment and stressed about the future at the same time. And you cannot be both fully present in this moment and worrying about the past at the same time. It is easy for our life to happen and we keep reacting, but it is really hard to go through life by responding. I was part of a buddy program in office. I had to make the newcomers feel comfortable and I had to handhold them until they are comfortable taking through the process. So while I was training a newcomer, he kept on asking me clarifications again and again. I got irritated because I had to complete my work also. I started reacting to him and told, why don't you understand? You've been asking the same question and again. I then took a moment and remember the message from this book on how to respond and not to react. I thought, I'm here to help my colleague. He must be very new and may need a different approach. I apologized to him. I started teaching him in layman terms, which made him understand the process better. Reacting is negative. Responding is. If this book gives such a deep knowledge and this is going to change our perception to life, how can we practice them in the present? This is how I try to practice. I ask questions, especially why. Ask the question, why, many times until you get the answer. It just boils down your thoughts. Better questions will have better answers. Like, are you running away from your life or running towards your life? You have to, next point would be you have to get in the flow. Stay with your flow. If you just go with the flow, no matter what weird things happen along the way, you always end up exactly where you belong. There is no past. There is no future. Everything flows in an eternal present. Third, raise your vibration from your negative emotions. You are what you think. You are just your thoughts. Forget about all the negative emotions, the fear, the anger that you have. Think about, even if a person is so rich, is he happy? So that gives you the answer. Don't think it, ink it. This means just don't keep thinking, just start writing. So journalizing is the number one tool to transform your life. Whether everyone reading this book will enjoy or benefit from its is highly dependent on a lot of the factors. I enjoyed this book believing that the question and answer format was the best approach for conveying all the messages to the readers. I suggest reading this book with an open mind. It is also said that the person you will be in 5 years depend on the books you read and the people you surround yourself today. The person you will become depends on what you're feeding your mind today. So what are you feeding your mind? If you want to live a life beyond that, what you are today, then you must commit to learning, growing, evolving for higher level consciousness and to have elevated mindset. Have fun reading, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Lavanya, for that wonderful book review and for encouraging all of us to sort of start reading, or whoever is reading, continue reading. Thank you so much. I absolutely enjoyed knowing what vacation meant to different people at Medley today. So what are you all waiting for? I think you should definitely plan your next vacation wherever it is, even if it's as close as Mahabalipuram or Pondicherry from Chennai. I think we all should give life that opportunity to sort of show you that there are more things to be discovered in this world. So over to you for the next, over to DTM Suganti Periasamy for the next session on election. DTM Suganti, over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Pavitra. Good afternoon, Toastmasters and guests. Good evening, Toastmasters and guests once again. It is time for elections at Medley. So the president had sent out an email soliciting nominations for all the 7 club officer roles. A nomination committee was formed consisting of past presidents, past president DTM Sunil Jose, past president DTM Kalyan, and myself. So we took out a week's time to speak to all the nominees about their the club officer role that they have nominated for, to understand their understanding of the club officer responsibilities and their vision for Medley Toastmasters during the term that they intend to serve all of us. So it gives me immense pleasure to release the nomination slate. So in the nomination slate is in the order, the alphabetical order of the first name. For Sergeant at Arms, we had received 2 nominations, and both of the nominees are there in the nomination slate: Toastmaster Mohana Sundaram and Toastmaster Renu Narayanan. For the remaining club officer roles, we have received only 1 nomination: Secretary. The nominated person is Toastmaster Amita. Treasurer, Toastmaster Sharanya AS. Vice President Public Relations, Toastmaster Ramesh Murugan. Vice President Membership, Toastmaster Dinesh CJ. Vice President Education, Toastmaster Rangarajan P. President Raghunath, Toastmaster Raghunath C. So this is the nomination slate, and the date for the elections, as informed by the club president, is November 15th. These members have shown interest to serve all of us during the term January to June 2021. For your kind information, The floor will be open to further nominations on the day of the elections, and all the nominated members are also welcome in change to contest for any other club officer role in case if they have a change of mind. So that brings us to the end of the update on the nomination committee report, and I would like to thank my fellow team members, DT Absolute Joes and Toastmaster Kalyan, for taking out time to speak to all the nominees. Wishing all the members featured on the nomination slate the very best, and inviting or over to the Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, DTM Suganti. I now hand over the control to TTM Thomas Abraham, the president.
Thank you very much, TM Modi. I would quickly run through the guests for their feedback because we missed some of them. To make things efficient, I would request the guest to volunteer and whoever is present to come up one by one. We will manage. To get started, is Toastmaster Murali there? I'll quickly run through. You can stop me. Toastmaster Kusmajil Jain, Kumar Mani, Vinod, Dr. Rahima, Sweta, Sandhya, Arun Kumar, Toastmaster Manomohan.
Hello.
You there?
Yeah, I'm here.
You are real faithful. We have our trust in you. Thank you very much. Yes. What are the new learning today?
Actually, I joined Toastmaster because I wanted to be a writer.
Wow.
I could see so much. I think this is an ocean of knowledge, both in terms of vocabulary and in creativity. So I could see each and every person delivering their speech in such a level that which I didn't have expectation before hitting Toastmasters. Thank you so much, and I'm looking forward to be one.
Great. I can't agree with you more because I'm also pretty impressed by what I saw today. We've started well and all. I mean, that's been very well evaluated. But what I found most interesting, allow me to say, is symptomatic of Toastmasters. Toastmasters are desperately in need of an audience. They would not even spare a 4-month-old kid, even if the kid has the same name as themselves. I thought a great demonstration of what I may call Medlians have talents. I thoroughly enjoyed this. We are okay for time, but then we had some extra responsibilities to be completed. And allow me to say this. Today's man of the match for sheer initiative to me is Sergeant at Arms Ramesh Rajendran. Because he jumped in, already he is wearing a hat, he jumped in, he takes the other hat, which is required to be worn from president to president, A to Z. So congratulations for that spirit. Thank you. Tomorrow, as has been mentioned, tomorrow we have two of our members representing us in the division level. So come and cheer, though it's long distance. And 15th, next Sunday, please do turn up. We need your numbers. We need your votes. We need your participation. 15th is the election date, right? So I think, yes, how can I forget? PPT make an entry in TT. You had tag players really using it. Now it's become passe. So now we have TT using PPT. So what has Medlians done? Medlians have rewarded that TT speaker with the best TT Speaker of the Day award. Today's winner in TT is Toastmaster Ramesh Murugan. And today's evaluator is Toastmaster Surya. Today's role player is Guruprasad DTM. Today's tag player is Toastmaster Sharanya. Anything left out? Today's speaker is Toastmaster Jagannathan. Congratulations. Very well done. Very well done. Pretty mighty pleased with what I could see today. Welcome to our biggest chat room in Chennai. Thank you.